The gold price is looking very good, and the large companies are already starting to outperform the gold price. Also, the development companies are starting to pick up, but the juniors are still lagging behind. And now is the time to go out and to do your due diligence. Go ahead and look for exciting exploration companies. And today with me is Gino D'Anna. He is the CEO of Askari Metals, an ASX listed company, with a new exciting exploration story in Ethiopia. Gino, first of all, thank you very much for your time. It's great having you back on our show.
Perfect. No, thanks very much, Jan, for hosting me on the show this morning as well.
Maybe we can start by you giving us a little bit of a background, because the market reacted after you announced that you got a new exploration project in Ethiopia. What does it mean for Askari?
Now, as you've rightly pointed out, Askari has now made quite a significant transformative move into gold exploration and development in Ethiopia. But the backdrop for our move and our focus, I should say, more specifically into Africa, is really around what we've been doing over the last few years. And that was really underpinned by the exploration in Namibia, in fact. So what that enabled us to do, of course, was really build the strength of our internal team and position the company for leverage from exploration success. So in terms of having our exploration footprint expanded to now include Ethiopia, we've been able to do so without having to duplicate infrastructure and duplicate resources, which has meant that we can really take advantage of what I call our first mover advantage. And that's an important way to kind of, I suppose, introduce the project and introduce Nejo, because it is in an area which is very much along a very prominent greenstone belt of central western Ethiopia. It is surrounded by we actually surround, I should say, the Tulukapi mine, and we're along strike of the Kurmak gold mine, which is aiming at going into production next year and targeting 290,000 ounces per annum of production. Now, why did we move into Ethiopia, I think is probably quite an important point to cover off on. It's a mining-friendly jurisdiction to start. The infrastructure in Ethiopia is one that hasn't seen a lot of modern systematic exploration, but that means that, of course, the opportunity for Askari to come in and systematically explore and apply modern technology towards the exploration gives us a real opportunity to unlock the value of that project. A lot of the work that has actually been undertaken at Nejo, which is not just looking at high-grade gold, but also looks at high-grade copper as well, has been around like either diamond core drilling, extensive RC drilling, but also extensive trenching and soil geochemical sampling, as well as geophysics. But the most recent exploration campaigns undertaken out there at Nejo focused on the gold were some 10 years ago, and the geophysics was even a lot earlier than that. So it kind of gives you a bit of an idea for where the company's value add is and what shareholders have to look forward to as far as those upcoming catalysts are concerned as well.
Very good. Gino, thank you for giving us the overview. But before we dive deeper into your project, we should talk a little bit about yourself and also your background, because we always tell our investor community that it's very important to have a look at the management. And if the management is not investing into their own company, that means they are not really believing in what they are doing. With other words, it means we are looking for companies with CEOs that have skin in the game. So maybe you can tell us about your involvement into Askari and the company.
Yeah, perfect. So my background, I've done a lot of investment in Africa over the years, and not only through Askari in Namibia, but also personally in Zambia as well as in Botswana. And again, as you've indicated, making sure that you're putting in your own money. You can't give an investor any comfort to invest their own money if you're not already doing it yourself. And the same is also incredibly true for Askari. Every time the company's done a placement or a capital raise, an entitlement offer, I've been there first in line to participate and show the shareholders my support and my belief in the projects and the company as well. As far as skin in the game is concerned, I've got circa 10% of the register that I hold personally. And in any planned capital raising initiatives, as I've mentioned already, I will be looking to participate and top up my activity, my, I suppose, ownership in the company as well. I really look at any of these projects, Jan, that I get involved in, and any asset company that I get involved in as well. It really is a case of my money's the first to go in. So I'll always make sure that from an investor's perspective, they can take comfort knowing that board and management, senior management teams are aligned to the investors' interests. And that comes in the form of making sure that equity ownership and money down, importantly, is first and foremost in our mindset as well.
Perfect. Gino, you and also your presentation is mentioning that you have brownfields opportunities with 10 priority gold targets. Does it de-risk the project in any way? And maybe you can give us an idea of what stage in the exploration phase are we in? How long will it take to drill out the resource here, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that's a really important point there to touch on, right? The project Nejo, it is an advanced stage brownfields asset. And what I mean by that is that it's had such a vast history of prior exploration completed. So not only does it include RC and diamond drilling, but includes trenching, it includes mapping, geophysics, as well as soil geochemistry surveys completed. Now, all of that exploration information, which really spans from the mid-1950s all the way through until perhaps 2012, 2013, gives the company this breadth of exploration information that we can then take advantage of in terms of how we design our own field exploration campaigns and how we look to grow the scalability of the potential of the projects as well. Now, part of our initial exploration campaigns is going to be verify and validate the historical work. So what does that mean? We're going to go into the field, we're going to start drilling holes that confirm the historical exploration work. Once we've identified, yes, everything's been validated to a high degree of standard, then we can start to certainly grid out the drill program and actually start to put together some geometry around the potential resource as well. Now, when you talk about early stage exploration assets, there's always this period of 6 to 12 months and sometimes even longer where the assets need to go through this early stage exploration turn before they can start really drilling out for resource. We can do away with that at Nejo. Because we've got so much exploration activity undertaken in the past, we know exactly where that exploration was directed. We know the results that have come out from the exploration, the drilling. We know exactly where we want to drill from the beginning. We've got 3 drill-ready targets that run along strike and parallel to the Tulukapi mine, and that includes Guji, Komto 1 and Komto 2. They're drill-ready. That's going to be the start of the initial maiden drilling campaign for Askari. We've also then got a parallel trend across to the west, which includes a further 6 targets, which have had drilling and have had trenching as well. A little bit of extra work needs to be undertaken there with some more infield trenching before we can mobilize a drill rig there. But I would say that sort of work, that sort of exploration work will be running concurrent to the maiden campaign along at Guji, Komto 1 and Komto 2. So from our initial insight into the project, we see a real rapid acceleration towards the exploration and resource drilling. And to put things into perspective, for a company that has this kind of information available to it, knowing where our drill programs are going to be designed and what sort of geology, what sort of mineralization we're going to be encountering, it definitely fast tracks our approach to that JORC 2012 maiden resource. And I would like to think that within the next 12 months, we can be coming through with a high degree of confidence what an inferred resource and potentially an indicated resource would look like at Nejo, focused on that southwest licenses and those higher priority targets. And then it's really a case of scaling and building from there. Now, the other point that's important to mention as well is some of the historic drilling. I mean, take Dina, for example. There was a 7.1 meter intersection at 30.1 grams per ton gold, with a lot of visible gold in the drill hole as well. We have similar results at Guji as well. We've got a 44 meter intersect at 1.7 grams per ton gold, but we've also got other high grade hits over 10 and 11 meters at Guji, again, with lots of visible gold in the diamond core. So that kind of information, those kind of grades, very quickly give you a bit of an idea for not just what could be an average grade of the resource, but also if you take into account Tulu Kapi, which is 1.7 million ounces, it also gives you an idea. And Tulu Kapi, that 1.7 million ounces covers a very small area. When you consider that Nejo is 1,174 square kilometers, so district scale footprint, it very much gives you an idea for, okay, if there's 1.7 million ounces within a small footprint on the mining license, and Askari's got all of the exploration ground that surrounds that mining license, kind of gives you an indication of, okay, the true scale and potential of this project could be significant. And we're talking multi-million ounce deposits. Kurmak, it's 3.4 million ounces to the north. We are looking at a greenstone belt which is very well understood and is very much a multi-million ounce discovery potential belt. And that's why we're there. That's why what drew our attention to Ethiopia was that exact point, the scalability and the size and grade potential of the project area.
Gino, that sounds great. I mean, we're talking about high-grade drill results that you have had in the past here with the previous owner. And you also mentioned that you have copper potential on the project. And I think that's also very important to understand here. Copper has been in everybody's mouths over the past few months because there has been a little bit the tariffs with Trump were going on. Now copper has come down again, but I don't think it will stay there. It's more the opposite thing. Copper will come back, and it's very necessary for the whole energy transition that we are planning on the whole planet. We don't have enough copper, and you said you also have a little bit of copper play. So give us a little bit of an idea.
Yeah, so this is one of the things that we identified during the due diligence process. And I mean, we've spoken about just the level of information from a historical database. And what we identified was this area up in the northwest of the northern license called Kata. Now, Kata, it's approximately 5 kilometres southeast of the town site of Nejo. So infrastructure and access to the project area, again, is excellent, not just on the specific targets, be it the gold or the copper targets, but generally across the entire project. You've got very good access to be able to undertake exploration. Now, at Kata, the UNDP did some exploration drilling. They actually drilled nine diamond holes all the way back through to the early 1970s. And they were drilling these holes at the same time as what they were undertaking some surface geophysical activities as well. They mapped 6 gossans, outcropping gossans, which were very highly mineralized for copper. One of the gossans actually measured more than 600 meters in strike and up to 30 meters wide. They call that the gossan Kata 2 target. Now, 2 holes were drilled into the Kata 2 target. The first hole, UDMP 3, intersected 14.5 meters at 3.2% copper. Now, that hole actually ended in mineralization, and they had to actually abandon that hole because there was caving of the rods and of the hole. Now, rather than actually re-entering that hole, what they did instead was that they took the drill rig and they moved it approximately 106 meters due southwest, and they drilled a second hole. Now, that second hole intersected 25 meters at 0.8% copper with a lot of high grade intervals across that 25 meters as well. After those 2 drill holes were drilled, for whatever reason, and here is obviously the opportunity for Askari, the balance of their drill holes was very badly positioned. And so they didn't actually intersect the target mineralized horizon as what we would have expected would have happened if you would have been looking at this from a holistic perspective and looking at it from a systematic exploration point of view. And that's the whole reason why I say, like, the opportunity here for us to unlock the value isn't so much in saying, well, all we've got to do is like stitch these 2 pieces together. It's a case of really looking at the exploration data and saying to ourselves, well, we know what the pitfalls were from the previous exploration. We know where we need to position our drill holes. That's how we're going to unlock the value. That's how we're going to build the resource. But those kind of drill intersects, I mean, UDMP3, 14.5 meters at 3.2% copper, ending in high-grade mineralization, that's a really interesting target for us. That's a great exploration drill hole for a start. Naturally, what the company is going to do is effectively twin that hole and take it all the way through from the hanging wall all the way down to the footwall of that mineralization, which I said is about 30 to 35 meters true width. We're then going to be able to step back and drill some further holes of the same pad and start to pretty quickly get an idea for what the geometry and size of this particular gossan is and what the potential scalability is from a copper-only resource is concerned as well. We then have the other 5 gossans that were identified as outcropping, where drilling was badly undertaken, but still they hit some high-grade mineralization. So from a company's perspective, what we're looking to do as a precursor to maiden drilling, both on the copper and on the gold, is just get 2 fields of geologists out into the field to map and sample those areas and actually mark out where we want to drill the holes. That'll take perhaps 2 to 3 weeks. We're then going to come back to the office, digitize all the exploration results, design the drill campaign, which, as I said before, is very much a simple case of confirmatory or twin drilling the holes. And then in November, we plan to be back into the field with a diamond rig and actually start to undertake our maiden drilling. I really like the Nejo project from the perspective that it has got high-grade gold, it has got high-grade copper. The copper intersects up in the north, they didn't actually assay for gold. So I would say without any doubt of my mind at all that there will be gold assay results to come through from that drilling and exploration work as well. So it is very much a project that has got significant scale potential. We've got a district land footprint. And we've got the right ability, we've got the right team in place to be able to execute and actually effectively and aggressively explore and define the potential of this project.
Gino, thank you very much. And let me summarize here. I think that's very important to understand. You are located in Ethiopia, which is an upcoming mining region. You are surrounding 2 million ounce deposits, right, from other companies. You're also having high-grade historical drill data, and now you're trying to fast-track the project to a JORC-compliant resource. All of this sounds very good, very interesting, very exciting. It's obviously a more risk story because you are still a very low market cap company with a little bit of a high-risk exploration compared to a producer or developer. I think that's always important for the investors to understand, but there lays the opportunity for the future. But instead of me summarizing the story, it would be good to hear from you maybe the main arguments. Why should an investor buy in right now as an early stage explorer instead of waiting for the next couple of months and the news release?
Certainly. I think look at this from the perspective of Askari's first mover advantage in Ethiopia. You've identified already that we're along strike of multi-million ounce deposits, and we're along strike of a mine that is coming on stream and will start producing through the middle of next year. That should give shareholders and investors generally an indication that this is a very heavily mineralized system in what is essentially an emerging jurisdiction from a mining perspective, but get in early. Take the low geological risk that Nejo provides to Askari and take an opportunity to invest early in the company prior to the drilling being undertaken, prior to the resource being declared. Because I think that from a historical exploration perspective, knowing that it's been diamond drilled previously, it's been trenched and sampled previously, and we've got visible gold in that system, it's low geological risk. The upside is significant, and it's not just the gold, as I've said. There's also the upside of some very pure high-grade copper as well in the northwest of the project. So I think from an investor's perspective, there's a number of catalysts to get excited about. We're not going to be quiet as far as exploration activity and results is concerned. And I think that the coming 2 to 3 months is going to really help to define and shape the company and shape Nejo in particular. And it'll then be a case of really rapidly advancing that project through to the resource and through to technical and economic feasibility study as well.
Great, Gino. Thank you very much for summarizing the whole story. I think it was a very comprehensive interview. I wish you the best of luck for your exploration. Obviously, to our viewers, this is no investment advice. Please make sure to check out our disclaimer in the description below. Gino, I wish you the best of luck, and we talk again soon. Thank you.
Perfect, Jan. Thank you so much as well.